So I woke up with a whole bunch of emails and messages threatening me and attempting to intimidate me away from continuing to speak out against my abusive family. This, unfortunately, is something I knew would happen because you cannot speak out about abuse without incurring further abuse. If abuse was something that was safe to speak out about and expose, more people would do it. But it's not. When you speak up against abusive people, 100% of the time, you will be abused further. You will be attacked. You will be harassed. The abuse will increase because you're speaking out about it. And most people back down because when you're in a situation where you're already being hurt and you speak up and more people come to hurt you for it, the reasonable, logical, safe response is to stop and accept the pain that you have and the fact that you're never going to be able to get rid of it because speaking up only brings more. I won't back down. I won't run away. I will cry because it hurts. But I will continue speaking out against my abusers because I am no longer a child and they should not be allowed to continue to silence me as if I were. My father was a monster. My father handicapped his own son at birth. My father beat my mother every night, every single night of their marriage. Every night that I lived in that house, I laid in my bed and I listened to him and her fight. I listened to things being broken, and I wondered if it was going to happen then. You don't know what it feels like to be 8 years old, laying in your bed wondering if your father is going to kill your mother that night. And wondering what he will do afterwards. Will he kill you? What happens after? And I waited and I waited and I finally found out what happens after. What happens after is more people show up to continue hurting you. Because he's dead now. He killed himself in 2006 in the process of beating my mother. He put a gun to his head and he told her if she didn't come out of the bathroom so that he could continue beating her, he would kill himself. And that's what he did right there in front of his oldest daughter, his youngest daughter. I wasn't there. My sisters were. I have 2 sisters that both witnessed our father's suicide after listening to him beat our mother for 30 years. I used to have a brother who was handicapped by our father's abuse. He also watched our father kill himself. Thursday was my brother's birthday. And so Saturday, my aunt, my mother's sister, posted to my father's obituary using my email account to tell people that she was taking care of things for him, that she was silencing me for him, that she was making sure the world would never know the truth about him, that he was indeed a monster. He was a horrible human being. He was garbage. He was a drug addict. He was abusive. He was a rapist. He was a pedophile. He went to prison for sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl who had come to our home to buy narcotics from him when I was 6 years old. He and my mom both went to prison just after my brother was born for prostitution. We don't even know that my younger sister is his child because the years between my brother and her, my mother was being prostituted by my father, by her husband, because he couldn't work and they needed money. So it's very possible that our youngest sister has a different father because men were paying to have sex with my mother. They were paying my father to have sex with my mother while I was an infant child. And Kathy's aware of this. My aunt, who is defending my father, is full aware of everything that he has done. She knew it when I was growing up and she defended him. She protected her children by keeping them away from him. She wouldn't bring her children over to his house. But now that he's dead, she'll come online and tell thousands online that he was a good man who deserves to be treated better, who deserves to be held up and respected in high regard. He was an absolute demon in human form, and I'm glad he's dead. And people are now going to attack me for that. Because I spoke up about what has happened. And they're saying that I'm just doing this for no reason, I'm just bored. No, I showed the email that I received. I showed the posting that my aunt made on my father's obituary. It's not just me being bored and needing to stir up drama. It's my family taking actions to hurt me and instigating this. If my aunt wanted to post on my father's obituary, she could have done that without using my email address. There was no reason I would have received a notification of that unless she set it up for me to receive that notification because she wanted me to be aware that she was trying to defend him on a public forum and let people know that this demon who beat her sister for 30 years was a good man that she loved and will defend. Can you imagine being the type of person who would defend the man that beat your sister for 30 years? That's my family. That's my bloodline. These are people who will defend abusers. These are people who will defend monsters and demons. And it's not okay. And I can't do anything but talk about it. I can't do anything but document it, but tell people. This is what my family does. And it's not just my family. There are other people out there suffering with the same type of abuse. And yes, it is abuse. You should be allowed to leave. If the situation is too bad, you should be allowed to leave. How am I allowed to leave if my aunt is able to still, send these things to my email and do these petty little things to pick at me and let me know that it's never going to be over, that my family will always win? But they're not always going to win. Because their winning is my silence. And I'm not going to be silent. No matter how many other YouTubers threaten me to intimidate me, I will not be silent. My father was a monster. And I want everybody to know that. I want everybody to understand that he was truly a demon, and my aunt's defense of him is only proof of her demonic mindset, of her abusive mindset, of the fact that she literally cannot exist without hurting somebody. I fear for her children and her grandchildren, because she was posting videos that her children were over visiting her for Mother's Day, right? So then, of course, just 2 days later, she has to vindictively post something to my father's page, something tagging me, meant to hurt me, because her fucking children went back home and she got sad and needed to lash out, and all she knows when she hurts is to hurt somebody else. Because that's what abusers do. That's how abusers think. That's how abusers function. She had a good time and then got sad and needed to hurt somebody else because she was feeling sad, and now we're here. Regardless of how she's feeling, my brother doesn't deserve to have his handicapper treated like a savior. Bubba deserves better than that. And I'm not going to just let it die. I'm not just going to let it go. I'm not just going to let my family lead the narrative that my father was a saint and I'm just a lying bitch. Fuck that. Fuck that, and fuck everybody who believes that. I'm not going away. I won't be intimidated. I will hurt and I will cry. And one day it will kill me. But I will go down screaming the truth. And I will never change it. I will only find more facts to validate it.